What's up, everyone? My name's PlatinumHowler, coach of your Delta Gligars, and I'm bringing you week 3 of the NCL versus Matt and his Green Bay Golisopods, and you can see his team on the right side of the screen. So I've been meaning to do full-on team builders for NCL. Well, at least I meant to do it for the first battle that went up super late, but this is how I'm going to do it from now on. My typical style: team builder before the battle, and then post-commed battle right afterwards. So, this week, my opponent has Melmetal. Melmetal is insanely good. All of its stats are ridiculous, except for its speed. And it has really terrifying coverage and just hits super hard. I have very few things that can deal a ton of damage to it and or switch into it. So yeah, Jellicent, pretty much a must on this team. Very physically defensive, a little bit of speed on there. That's actually going to speed tie a Adamant max speed Melmetal, but I don't see that coming. But just in case it does, I kind of need to outspeed it. So yeah. Strength Sap is super nice to 1v1 a lot of his physical attackers and keep Jellicent healthy to switch into Melmetal repeatedly. Will-O-Wisp, nothing really like switching into a Will-O-Wisp on his team except for Melodic, I guess. But I can Hex anything that gets statused, and we also have Trick Room, of course, because, you know, make a camera up and Trick Room team and things. So yeah, that's about it for Jellicent. Rillaboom, I knew that I wanted grassy terrain because when your opponent has Melodic, you kind of have to bring Rillaboom. It's kind of pretty much my only way of attempting to break through it. Although my opponent also has a Crobat, which Rillaboom can't touch. I was under the impression that Rillaboom got rock coverage, aka like Stone Edge, to hit a Crobat, but that is not the case. Rillaboom cannot touch Crobat whatsoever. So bringing in a big, burly, offensive Rillaboom doesn't really make much sense to me, so instead we have this more defensive Leech Seed Protect set. So yeah, I feel like that's going to be the best way of dealing with his team as a whole. Crobat is going to be, I can see it being really annoying, so I might actually stay in with this Rillaboom against Crobat. And if he turns out on me, he won't be doing a ton of damage to me, and I'll actually get the momentum of my own. If I Leech Seed him on switch in, then I can protect and get extra Leech Seed, extra grassy terrain recovery to try to whittle that Crobat down. But yeah, that's going to be it for Rillaboom. Oh, we have the Train Extender as well, because I want Grassy Surge up for to weaken the Garchomp's Earthquakes, as well as to turn Camerup's Nature Power into Energy Ball, and we'll go over that when we get there. So Rillaboom is here, so that makes Hawlucha a pretty good cleaner. I can outspeed everything after the Grassy Seed pops. I have enough speed on this to outspeed Mega Houndoom. I honestly don't think Mega Houndoom is coming. I'd say the 6 that I would anticipate would be Lele, Melmetal, Garchomp, Crobat, Cofagrigus, and Melodic. Those are the 6 that I would expect. I think Mega Houndoom might get sat on the bench this week. But we have Acrobatics to not take recoil damage and use after we've popped our Grassy Seed, but Brave Bird can deal damage beforehand and just be more powerful than Acrobatics in general. Swords Dance, if we can get a Swords Dance off and on a Burden Boost, I think we're going to win this game. So hopefully we can put ourselves in a position to do that. And Close Combat over High Jump Kick, because he does have Cofagrigus switch into High Jump Kick, so I don't want to be taking 50% recoil if I can avoid it. So yeah. Now onto the Camerupt. pretty mixed defenses to try and take hits from things like Lele and things like Garchomp. I can take 2 Earthquakes from Garchomp with Grassy Terrain up. And yeah, I have enough special attack investment, I believe, to KO the typical invested in specialty defense Melmetal. If it's not, if it's Assault Vest, then it won't kill, but maybe Fire Blast would be able to kill if it's an Assault Vest. Yeah, pretty standard Mega Camera moveset. Of course, I mentioned Nature Power with Grassy Surge active will do like 60, like 70% to my Milotic on switch in, and then unless I have Trick Room up, I'll have to switch out the next turn. But Drapion, I feel like, was needed because it is my Dark type, and I'm facing a Tapu Lele. Max specially defensive with Psychic Seed. I could have brought Assault Vest and had a little bit more power, but I actually wanted to see if I could get Toxic Spikes up to whittle down his Mons for a late game Hawlucha sweep. So yeah, I can just be bulky, especially bulky when I initially switch into Lele and get the spikes up. Ice Fang is there to get a little bit of chip on Garchomp if I can catch it on a switch in. Taunt, pretty much there for Milotic. If he wants to switch Milotic into this and start doing annoying Milotic things, then I can just Taunt, weaken him that way. And then Poison Jab, because I have to be able to hit the Lele, and I can hit Serena with that as well, although I don't think Serena will come. We'll see. I wouldn't rule it out entirely, but Porygon 2. This last slot on the team I was kind of unsure about. I didn't really know what I needed more help with. And I kind of wanted Trick Room on this set as well, but I felt like I needed the other attacking moves to just have coverage against the rest of his team. Like, I needed Ice Beam for the Garchomp, I needed Shadow Ball for Cofagrigus and Tapu Lele, and Shy Attack for Mega Houndoom, because otherwise Mega Houndoom would just wall this Porygon 2, and I don't want it to just nasty plot up, even though I could just outspeed it with Hawlucha. But yeah, I hope I don't regret not having a second Trick Room setter on this team. I mean, this team really doesn't rely on Trick Room to try and win. It's mainly relying on I guess Camerupt breaking early, and then Hawlucha cleaning up. So with a lot of chip in there in between. So that's going to be the team, and hopefully we can bounce back from our terrible performance last week and improve to 2-1, and maybe get our differential back up to even. So yeah, we'll see you right back with the battle. Here we are back with the battle. I've already gone over my team, but you can see it on the right side of the screen. Everything, well, everything except for Rillaboom. Poor Rillaboom, because he doesn't get a photo on PokePaste, because PokePaste, I guess, they don't recognize Gen 8 Pokemon yet. Oh well. So these are the exact 6 Pokemon that I predicted my opponent to bring. So I feel very confident in Team Preview, just knowing that. I feel like I have a good team to take them on. Melodic and Crobat will prove to be difficult to break through, though. That is for sure. So, Jellicent matches up. Oh wait, no, this is not the Jellicent game, is it? Yeah, it is the Jellicent game. What am I saying? I led with Jellicent 2 weeks in a row. What do you know? But it matches up super well against this team. I don't really think anything forces me out immediately, except for maybe Lele. But he leads Garchomp, so I just Will-O-Wisp. He goes to Melodic, whatever. I mean, this thing was probably going to want to get burned anyway, because it has Marvel Scale, so I just switch out after the burn. He goes for Scald. He tries to go for a Toxic, which I actually predicted, which is why I went into Drapion, so I could get Toxic Spikes up. And then after I got one layer up, I just went into my Rillaboom to want to pressure him out. And of course, the Crobat comes in. It's going to take a Leech Seed. And so there's a spike on his side. There's Leech Seed. I'm thinking he's going to want to click Defog because that's the only hazard removal that he has. But he actually clicks Toxic instead. So he has Toxic on Melodic and Crobat. So the fact that he didn't click Defog right there kind of leads me to believe that he doesn't have Defog. Which is really good for me. If I can keep Toxic Spikes up, then I'm going to be able to just play a lot more defensively and safe as long as I can keep things healthy as possible. So I catch Melodic on a taunt on the switch. So because I know he can't Toxic my Jellicent, I can get Jellicent in. I can get Jellicent in for free and just whittle this thing down, and the Melodic can't recover either. So I can hit it with some hexes. And unfortunately, as he switches out into his Crobat, the Will-O-Wisp missed, which didn't end up being too big of a deal, but yeah, I just get my Draco back in. I set up a second layer of Toxic Spikes, which I probably didn't need, but since I figured he doesn't have Defog at this point, I might as well go for just get that extra layer of spikes up if they come in handy. So my Rillaboom now being Toxic, thankfully, can switch in pretty freely without fear of getting burned by this Melodic. So once again, Leech Seed comes out and he makes a safe switch into Crobat. And I have not yet revealed Protect, so I'm going to click Protect right here to get a little bit of extra Leech Seed damage off against Crobat. It's not as much as part of it is cancelled out by the fact that he has Black Sludge. But this turn I pull the switch into Camerupt as he's actually U-turning out instead of clicking Brave Bird again. So I mean, that was probably the correct play. After I Protect, you were pretty easy to predict me not staying in. But here he predicts me to switch out, and I don't want to switch out. I think that at full HP I might have had a chance to take a 4x super effective Scald from Melodic, but I'm not taking it from 86%. But I hit him up with a Nature Power that turns into Energy Ball, Grassy Terrain, Sheer Force boosted, and I'm able to weaken the Melodic considerably. So I basically trade Camerupt for Melodic, which is a trade that I'm happy with. I would think that it's a trade that he's happy with too, honestly, but it's a trade we're both happy with. But now, because Melodic is gone, I get to bring in Porygon 2 and get a special attack boost from download against this Crobat. As he goes for Toxic, I can fire off an Ice Beam. So it's good that he didn't get me Toxic on switch in, because otherwise then he could have just sat there and Roost stalled me, and I wouldn't have been hitting him super effectively with Ice Beam. So Porygon 2 is going to bust through his team super well right here, because he brings in Cofagrigus to knock off my Violite. So the only real damage that he was doing to me was the Toxic damage, and I can 2-hit KO him with Shadow Ball. So I just drop Porygon 2 in and casually get 2 kills, and now I have a 5-3 lead, but Tapu Lele is going to come in and pick off the Porygon 2. It did its job. I'm perfectly fine letting it go down at this point. Now I decide to bring in my Jellicent, because that actually did a lot more damage than I thought it would do, because Jellicent is just so naturally specially bulky. But I set up the Trick Room, and after he takes that extra turn of Toxic damage, the Hex, a 130 base power Hex is enough to knock out the Tapu Lele. So now all that he has left is 2 physical attackers. However, I did kind of set up Trick Room for the Melmetal, so I have to stall out my own Trick Room at this point to be in a winning position. Thankfully, I can sack off my Rillaboom, and it actually survives the first double Iron Bash, which was really clutch, because it stalled out an extra turn of Trick Room. And Hawlucha now comes in, and it can take a double Iron Bash with the defense boost, and I went for Swords Dance there. If I got Swords Dance up, I might have been able to win 3-0, but it didn't matter. I did get flinched by the double Iron Bash, but I'm still going to be able to win with Jellicent now that Trick Room is gone. I can just Strength Sap this Melmetal, and he, I guess, doesn't really have any attacks on Melmetal to hit Jellicent, which I found quite surprising. He clicked double Iron Bash at first, and he's going to take double the Rocky Helmet damage as I Strength Sap, get all my health back up, and reduce the damage that he's doing to me, which Strength Sap is super nice in this matchup right here. But I do want to make sure I keep my Jellicent as healthy as possible, because he does have the Garchomp in the back, and my last mon is Drapion. So I kind of need Jellicent to clutch this game for me at this point. As you see there, he went for Earthquake on the last turn, so I guess Earthquake was his best way of hitting me. I'm surprised he actually brought Earthquake instead of High Horsepower if he was bringing a ground type move at all. Earthquake with Grassy Terrain still on the field and at -2 attack was not doing any sorts of damage to me at all. So Melmetal's going down, and the Garchomp is toxic. I can set up a Trick Room and just hex him down. 2 hexes are going to be able to knock him out. I don't have to sit here and Strength Sap stall at all. 2 hexes do the job, so that's a 2-0 win for me. Jellicent coming in very clutch this week. 3 kills for itself, 2 kills for Porygon 2, and 1 kill to Rillaboom as well. So, good game to Matt. Very tough core to break through early game, but we managed to do it, and we managed to bounce back from that 5-0 loss last week. So we're now 2-1, -1, I believe. And next week we're going up against the Dutch Appletons, who are currently either 1-2 or 0-3. I'm unsure about that. They have Lando T carrying them so far, so we'll have to put in a lot of prep towards that thing. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and comment down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel for more NCL uploads, and we'll see you next week.